Terry Fife. Terry Fife has been such a great supporter of our efforts. I get a weird splashing noise every time I make a move here. Do you guys hear that same splashing noise, or is that just coming out of my end? I will take that as a good thing. Hello, Mary Beth.
Hello, Mary Beth.
Hey, Mary Beth, would you mind checking on the social streams and make sure that we are appropriately live in all those places? Because I am not convinced. I'm running a new system in my basement, and I want it to work. Well, hey, I don't know who's going to be able to join us tonight, but I wanted to have a chance to celebrate the things of the new year with the people that we've spent so much time and energy with in this 2020, and I'm sure you all have your own stories here, but I was just thinking tonight in a reflection that we were doing with a few people outside here that I have spent the better part of 4 years obsessing about Vote Common Good's work in 2020 and the meaning of 2020. But I was also reflecting on the fact that I've thought about the year 2020 since I was in ninth grade. Somewhere around ninth grade, I was, in some futurist class. I don't know if it was a business class or something. And for whatever reason, the year 2020 was talked about as like the vision of the future, right? Like by the year 2020, and then they would describe something that sounded a lot like, an episode of the Jetsons. It seemed as if everything in the year 2020 was going to be great and was going to be different than the world that we'd imagined up until then. And then in the last 15 years, maybe the last 20 years, and Brian, you might remember this because I feel like we sat in conference rooms and at conferences together where people would talk about a vision 2020. People would have a vision for what their organization would do in 2020, what they would accomplish in 2020. And I think there was just something kind of, appropriately tantalizing about the year 2020 that made it seem like, that was really the year you were going to, all things that mattered were going to now be important to you, and were going to be evident to all of the world. And then we get to 2020. And it's a total, it matches none of it, right? Short of the fact that we're doing a Zoom call, which might feel a little bit like that Jetsons thing where, he tells Rosie to do whatever Rosie does in his house. But like 2020 felt like 1984 and felt the book and the year and felt like 1968 and felt like 1941 and felt like 1920 and felt like 1860, like, oh my gosh, there's a sense in which nothing has changed. But I've spent so much time, since ninth grade, obsessing about 2020. And then in a longer sense, or in a shorter sense, thinking about it in this election year. I remember 4 years ago, almost to this day, maybe it was even New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, I sat right behind me there and recorded a video and said, look, Donald Trump is going to be the president of the United States. That now is perfectly clear. Because much like the current Trump supporters, I was thinking that maybe the Electoral College would do something about Trump's election. I don't know if any of the rest of you will now admit to that, but there was a period of time in 2016 where I really thought maybe the Electoral College will come to their senses. It will do something about this nonsense. And I had resigned myself to the fact that Donald Trump wouldn't. And I started to obsess about 2020, what it could mean. And that by New Year's Eve 2020, when we finally said goodbye to this calendar marked year, something would be different. And well, here we find ourselves. So I thought, among other things that we can do tonight, and I don't know what we're going to do, but I do have a bottle of champagne to open, which Cole Hillman, I see you on there, and I know we've waited to open a bottle of champagne together. We even tried to do it in Washington, D.C. on the night of the election day, but we couldn't. But tonight, by golly, we can do it. I thought I would love to hear from people's. You do? Well, maybe we will hit midnight East Coast time, and we will all pop that cork at the same time. That might be kind of fun. Wondering if people would be comfortable reflecting on something that you want to let go of that was quintessentially 2020. Secondly, maybe something you're grateful for in 2020. Maybe you've dug deep and found something in this calendar year that is not horrible. And third, is there something in 2021 that you're longing for that you want the rest of us to think about and to know about, and you want to share, and you want to be sharing publicly? So, so any of those, right, in any order that you'd like to go. And as people come on and join us tonight, I'll be doing some reminders of what they have. And if you're on the social streams, if you're watching in the social places, and you want to make a comment, you want to write that up, be sure to do so. And if you're on the Zoom, in the Zoom world here, we will keep track of you as well and try to make sure that all participants are being let in appropriately. So does anyone have something right off the bat that you want to reflect on 2020 and you want to share with the rest of us about what you want to let go of, something you were grateful for in this year, or something in 2021 you're really longing for?
Well, I'll be glad to go first because I promised I would stay on too long. So I'll just give you a couple minutes.
Thank you, Brian.
So I was thinking about this today. One of the things I want to let go of as soon as possible. I don't feel like I can do it yet. Maybe January 21st I can do it. But I just want to evict Donald Trump from all the real estate that he's, occupying under my brain, and just forget about him and leave him to the lawyers and prosecutors and district attorneys of various states to bring him to account. So I will be. That's something I really hope can happen because we have a lot of opportunities and challenges. It should be nice to actually be doing constructive things and not just trying to resist somebody who's doing constructive things. And I'll tell you, the rest of the days, I just keep bumping into things that remind me that in spite of all the horrible things of this year, and I remember in the first week of March when people were really beginning to take COVID seriously, and someone said we might have 250,000 deaths by the end of the year.
Yeah.
And I remember sort of a chill going up my spine, thinking, gosh, I could be dead at the end of the year.
Yeah.
But in spite of all of that, gosh, a lot of good things happen. The buffoons who won't wear a mask and keep showing up for big events and flaunting their spray of saliva and mucus viruses in it. They get a lot of the rest. But think about how many millions of people have really changed the way we live. Mm-hmm. There's a couple of churches that have just been foolish and wicked and selfish and arrogant to think that they, were exempt. But you know what? There have been tens of thousands of churches that have not met and have other ways to do their ministry. And synagogues and mosques and other faith communities as well. I mean, what people never would have believed that churches could adapt so fast and could adapt to technology and could make some positive changes. So there's some very good things. One other thing I'll mention, I was going over with my son earlier today. We're both kind of interested in technology, and I said, gosh, we've made staggering progress in batteries, right? This is a really big deal for electric trucks and electric cars to improve issues related to climate I recall the things people said that were foolish and ignorant and backward and inexcusable in the careless disturbance of the environment. We had engineers coming up with phenomenally creative new solutions
Hmm.
to something like that. I got an email from somebody just in the last couple of days who said, the city where he lives in LA. He said, these last several months of his lifetime. So, all of the bad that has happened relates to some of the best things happen while some of the good things happen. And I look at people on the screen and think about the people who've been part of those complicated. Awesome, wonderful, amazing, courageous, brilliant, creative people came together to create. So, and that's how I'm feeling. I'm feeling inspired and
Hmm.
grateful and ready to do that.
Brian, that is awesome. And by the way, all y'all, this was not a setup. Nobody knew that these were the questions that we were going to be raising. So Brian just happened to have a list right there because Brian, I think that's the kind of person you are. I think you think about these things of what you're grateful for, even in the midst of the difficulty. And I can assure you, I have benefited from that and learned that from you. So thanks so much for thinking about that. What we're doing here, if you're new with us, and we can see that there's new people jumping on all the time, we're asking you to reflect a bit on 2020. And are there some things that you've held on to that you want to let go of? Something that you want to say in this community and maybe to your own life you want to leave behind? And is there something maybe you're grateful for? And then is there something that you would be longing for in 2021 that you want to see come about? So we're asking people to reflect on those things together. A lot of us have meant so much to each other and have meant so much for our families that we thought that sharing this together while we can. Hey, and also share that maybe you see Sam behind me. There was, well, at least he was here a little bit ago. Sam is a part of a film crew from a German film company called Arte. And Arte has been producing a documentary film series that's been released in Germany and Europe and will soon be released in the United States that chronicles a number of people's involvement in America in 20. See you, Sam. Oh, hi, Sam. In 2020, in 2020, and Vocommon Goods has been a part of that. So that's what they're doing. They're the people who are sharing that. So they decided they were going to film one last installment, episode 6, and so they're following us on New Year's Eve. And if nothing says great documentary filmmaking like a Zoom call at midnight, I don't know what does. Okay, others, something you want to reflect on 2020, something you're holding on to that you want to let go of, something that you want to be grateful for, something in 2021 that you're longing for, or anything else you want to talk about. It's up to you. Feel free to share. I think someone was talking. Yeah, we were having a little trouble. You were breaking up. Are you? Do you have your video on? Who is this sharing with us? And if you turn your video on, then we all get to see you. Hello, Ann. Good to see you. Is that Terry?
I have something I'm grateful for.
Please.
That is, this year has made me braver about telling people I love them. It's made me want to reach out. If I haven't seen somebody in a while, and I didn't feel as awkward or weird about just reaching out. It's like, oh, I'm going to reach out and tell you I love you, and that's been really great. And I will hope to be able to continue that in 2021.
Well, that is one of the most heartening things I have heard all this time. It is so great, Terry. Thank you. I mean, I don't know about the rest of you. I have felt like I don't know how to tell people I love because I feel like I don't see anybody anymore, you know, and I feel so
Yeah,
disconnected. Yeah.
I have just stirred up, stirred the pot with a stick, and it just caught out people in different ways, just unabashed. And I love you, and I need to tell you.
So great. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. Thank you all.
And thank you. And Terry, thank you for all your constant support of O Common Good and your
Oh, of course.
common goodery. Others, things you'd like to share? Tim, I see you have a lovely friend with you.
I do. This is my granddaughter. This is Mariah. Oh, she's Elsa today with the dress. But
Oh, hello,
I
Elsa.
told her that Elsa actually is Mariah. So Mariah, this is Doug. This is Doug. This is Brian. Mary Beth. This is Mr. Fran, I think it is. This is Samir. Check out this. This is black Elsa. Mary. Say hi. Okay. Goodbye. I would say that my thoughts are kind of a combination of all these things. And I would say that for me, the last couple of 10 years, there's sort of been this kind of gradual move from the tribes of my roots
Mm.
to being extended in my thinking and my theology and stuff. And while I've been able to do that without burning any bridges, literally, still there's this kind of in between land where you're not really a part of that, but you're not really part of anything else. And so I would say that for me in the last 3 or 4 years, probably, especially with this kind of community has kind of really solidified for me and given me a company of brothers and sisters that I fit with, and that I'm grateful for.
Mm.
And I'm looking forward to what that means, not only for myself, but for the body of Christ as a whole,
Mm.
because I'm still very passionate about the fact that the way that God intended and that Jesus taught is the only way that we can live a sustainable life unfulfilled.
Mm.
I thank you for the role that each of you play in that.
Thank you, Tim. Hey, you know, I know for a lot of us, we've been holding a lot. Shelly, my wife, said sometime late November. She said, I think a pain has left my shoulder. I think I had a Donald Trump induced pain in my right shoulder. That somehow it just had manifested in a kind of grief and tightness. And she said it was gone. Now, you know, just hope it doesn't come back, you know, in 2024, right? But she's gonna let go of that pain. And I thought that was such a great way to think about what we hold on to consciously, you know, subconsciously, maybe for really good reasons. And I'm just wondering if if that's true for some people, and if there's something that people would like to let go of, and they would benefit from sharing that with the rest of us. There's something you've been doing, a habit, a behavior, a commitment, a feeling, a sense that you just know, like, you know what, maybe it won't be gone tomorrow morning, maybe it won't be gone by, you know, noon on January 20th, but sometime in 2020, I'm not going to be carrying that with me anymore.
I actually was talking to Adam about that today when we were in the car. I was like, I feel like tomorrow's gonna be a brand new start and everything's gonna be fine. And then it's like reality sinks in. And you're like, oh wait, it's not. days
Hmm.
better than the last 4 years, and then going forward even better.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, Mary Beth, that sort of reminds me that it's like on New Year's Eve where you remind yourself that okay, tomorrow's not, you know, in 5 hours or 12 hours. Everything's not going to be different. On the other hand, those of us who believe that one day at a time, those of us who believe that you make change in one day increments, those of us who believe that every day is a sacred day, that you need to make the sacred more secular and more available to everybody. We actually do believe right in that idea. So there's something where we feel this like reality that of course everything won't be different tomorrow, but on the other hand, ev- every day is yesterday's tomorrow. Now I sound like, you know, a drunk philosopher in an Irish bar or something, but every day is just the day before's next day, right? So if we're going to say, well, things won't be different by tomorrow, they'll be different later. Well, later is just some other next day, right? So we really should take it seriously that tomorrow might be the day, and that tomorrow's the day where these realities have to become the the practice of the rest of us. So I really love that idea that, you know what, tomorrow this is all going to be different. And around the church community that I've been a part of for 20 years, we borrow a little phrase from a TV show that a number of us liked a lot called Battlestar Galactica. Not the movie and not the TV show from the 1970s, but like the 2004 vintage show. And they had this phrase where they would say, "So say we all." And it was our way, we would combine it with an amen. Sort of this, it was something someone would say as an intention, and then someone would say, and so say we all, that we all join in saying that. So you kind of feel that way about like maybe tomorrow is the day that we're going to make this, the world's going to be a bit different than it is today. And you get the sense like, well, yeah, I would say yes to that. I would join my voice in that. Others are something you're going to let go of. Those of you who are just joining us, including the newly married couple of Rod and Allie, which sounds like a sitcom in the making. But Rod and Allie, yes, it was one of the great weddings. Rod, Allie, do you want to tell everybody so we don't spoil the news for you? Tuesday. Uh, I don't know. You know, thrifty people tend to get married on Tuesdays. They say to themselves, "I can get a much better deal on the." Really, cost of a marriage license. Well, please do, John. Wow. Hmm.
your righteousness because of these enemies. Make your way straight before me. Now, a couple more verses. Not a word from their mouth can be said. Their heart is filled with malice. Their throat is an open grave. Declare them guilty, O Lord. Let their intrigues be their downfall. Banish them for their many sins, for they have rebelled against you. Those verses have helped me go to sleep at night. Because I know that God really is going to turn this thing. I'm not trying to put time limits on it, but I know that all this wicked stuff we've seen for 4 years, it's going to judge. It's for what it is, and that's a real assurance to me and a reason for me to thank.
John, thank you. That's a great perspective and a great way to say it. Hey, I'm going to say goodbye to Sam. Goodbye, Sam.
Everybody. Not goodbye to you, because I'm sure I'll see you in like a week.
I'll see you in a minute, as we like to say. Sam and I met for one day. We were supposed to meet back in August when we did the walk, and we walked into Washington, D.C., and Sam was hired by the film crew to document that day. And we thought, okay, that's the last we're going to see of Sam. Then Sam showed up in Columbus, Ohio, and then,
Scranton.
okay, Sam, goodbye. And then Sam shows up in Scranton, and then, okay, goodbye, Sam. And then Sam shows up in
DC?
Washington, D.C., and then, okay, this is it, Sam. We're not seeing you anymore. The documentary is now done. No, it's New Year's Eve, and he's standing in my basement. So,
Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year, Doug.
Happy New Year, Sam. All the best to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam.
So fun. So fun. So we're asking people to share. Yeah, here's the thing. They're available to watch currently in Europe, and the film company is trying to sell the rights to be displayed in the United States. So they're trying to find a distributor, as some people like to say, a distributor to sell them here, like Netflix or Amazon or something like that. So yeah, I don't know. I think that would be a great idea. I do know that somebody here has a downloaded copy of them in English. That if you're on this call, you just might get a link to a Dropbox where you can watch them. But they'll be available more broadly, and they're actually quite compelling. They this group, the film crew, started following us back in February when we were in Mississippi, and then followed us all the way until and then pieced together a series of episodes all the way through to election night when they were in DC with us on election night, and then have kept it going. So they've added another episode. It is sold so well in Europe. It's actually, Tim has watched it, will confirm, I think, this notion. It's actually quite compelling. So it's Vote Common Good and 4 or 5 other groups that are kind of profiled.
I can find a link to. I actually have it downloaded, but the thing is, you don't get the voiceover because all the voiceover is done using German, but the audio that they recorded here is all in English. You can hear that. You don't get their voiceover narrative commentary. So either without that, it really is quite a strong story. That and the best thing that I really personally liked about it was, certainly a lot about ours, but it really showed the contrast of the conundrum that so many people in America were in, not just the Patriots, but other fields of like the mayor or the attorney from Atlanta, and they did I thought they really did due diligence job of following through and really representing the whole year almost.
We'll share some links around. It's really fun. Hey, Mary Jackson from Anderson, Indiana, who is probably Vote Common Good's greatest super fan in Indiana. And more broadly, just wrote a little note. Happy New Year, everyone. Your rally that we did in Anderson, Indiana, was one of the biggest things of the year in Anderson. You got here just before the pandemic took hold. So, you know, not only did we beat Donald Trump, but we beat the pandemic to Anderson, Indiana. So we will take that as a really good sign. Yes, I do. I know 3 people named Eric.
But one of them is watching you, but unfortunately, I don't think I can.
Well, hello, Eric.
Hi, Doug. Hi, everybody. Hi, Rod. Hi, Allie. Hi, Samir. I just want to congratulate all of you for a spectacular young Doug competition. I think you have to respect on both the and on the country and the world. I'm blown away by how wonderful God was it. I just have nothing but wow to say at this point. Thank you for all of your work, everybody. And was a wonderful outcome, obviously, but just seeing the process from centers usually is incredible.
Thank you, Eric. It means so much to us. Thanks for all your care and support and friendship for this work too.
My pleasure. Thank you all.
Hey, I'll say, you know, we've talked about. I've asked you to reflect on something that maybe you want to let go of in 2020, that's kept you back, and you want to release it. But there may be some things you want to hold on to that you picked up in 2020. And you know, for many of us, we look around the screen. We didn't know each other before that. All the people watching online, we didn't know these people, and I don't want to let go of any of you. I don't want to feel like you know, this is the end of Breakfast Club, and you know, someone says, "Are we going to see you in school tomorrow? Are you going to say hi to me in the hallway?" Say probably not. I don't want that at all. What we want, you know, hopefully, is that this is the start of something. So someone asked and caused me to reflect in a way I never thought I would. They said, "Well, you know, was there anything positive that came out of Donald Trump being elected president of the United States?" And frankly, I wanted to say no, because I don't know, sometimes I get a little opinionated and binary, and I wanted to say, like, there's no good that came out of that. Like, some of us made good from it, maybe. So I got a little picky about the question. But frankly, please do. I was going to say, because I've corrected myself, but correct me all the more, Abe.
Well, it's awful. I have to say, it's just absolutely awful. Like, my business is thriving.
Abe is in the stop the death penalty business.
But actually, it's, yeah. I set up an organization, for those of you who don't know, it's called Death Penalty Action. Randy, I remember you from Iowa. That first started a bus store, and I see so many other people that I've got to be on the bus with and all that. But I set up an organization right after Donald. Both Doug and I and a bunch of Michigan and other people you probably all know were arrested on January 17th, 2017, right before the inauguration. And I was driving home with Derek Jameson after we'd been released after 36 hours in prison, thinking, you know, it's only a matter of time before Donald Trump starts up executions. And we looked around the movement, there wasn't anybody ready to deal with the protesting. And so we created something. And it really, you know, it's 4 years almost setting it up. But suddenly it exploded. December 10th was the resumption of the current executions. Execution number 9 and then the 11th, number 10. But that weekend, coming out of this Donald Trump execution spree, my organization exploded. We were about 26,000 members, people on our list on December 9th, and we're now at 280,000. that's down to about 75,000 unsubscribed. And it signs up. We invite them to unsubscribe, and we've had the most amazing fundraising week. Today we had a match of $10,000 and we hit it. So suddenly, I mean, it's just huge. All of this is like coming out of death. It's all
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
the reality of this. But coming out of this is setting the stage for real criminal justice reform and abolition of the federal death penalty, which will also incentivize states to move it along. So, I think that's, you can extrapolate from that the bigger picture of everybody is now seeing how awful it can be when you let somebody like that get in
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
ride herd over everything. And it's going to be on all of us to find the ways to bridge the gap and come back with whatever the issues are to put things back in a way that they can't be dismantled.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. I really, Abraham, I really agree with that. I think he scared a lot of people with how he was using his position, the presidency, and everything. And we have a chance now with the new administration, with Joe and Kamala and all the others, to one, repair a lot of things that have been broken or depleted. And we know now that how precious our democracy is and how it can. It was close on the brink of going down. We still may not be out of it, but yes, he showed us what a real tyrant can do.
Mm. Mm.
It's also we learned our lesson. But I can tell you that for my business, it's awful, but created something out of it that is not going to turn around and hopefully finish the job and make a huge impact.
Mm-hmm.
So, and plus, the other really positive thing, getting to it is, without this, I wouldn't have been in it.
Right.
And I've come out of being on the bus a couple of times with I consider a bunch of new friends and people that are your allies, and we get to work together on those stuff. So, it's all good. That's otherwise it'd be all bad.
Well, and we are vote common good, so you kind of got you got to lean into the brand on that one. Yeah.
Hi. Congratulations, newlyweds. We got our little princess here, so I have to keep her busy.
Well, we'll take her. All right.
The hair.
Hey, one of the other things that's great about these calls, you see that the Gilmans and family are out in the West Coast, and so they're on the West Coast time, and some people are in Colorado, and so they're in the Mountain time, and some people are in the Midwest like I am, and so it's 10:42. Some people are on the East Coast. Some people in New Zealand and Australia are already living out 2021 in all of its glory. It's this great little reminder, isn't it, that we're all in places, but the way we mark time, we're in different time zones. And that's a really helpful way to think about change in our society, right? Some people are a little more ahead, some people are a little further behind. And so hopefully the kinds of changes that we want to see happen in our society start to spread around the planet. Sometimes when I meet people who feel like it's throwback days, and I think we're going to hear this a lot, and bringing this up because I think what we're going to hear a lot is people saying things like, God, that feels like 2020. I think that's going to become a measurement phrase. Sometimes it's helpful to just think, well, people are in different time zones, let's give them a minute and help them catch up. And I know it's been really hard for a lot of us to do, frankly, in our impressions about the impact of politics. Like for a lot of us, politics has been one of the places where we could, agree to disagree, or we could find commonality, or we could set it aside because there's more important things we could think about. and then it turns and becomes demagoguery and nonsense and pain and hazard to the planet and harmful to so many individuals and kids in cages and COVID dithering and lies upon lies and threatening democracy. And all of a sudden you're like, well, this is not, just politics that we're talking about here. This is something more, more dangerous and more important than all that. And so sometimes to just give ourselves a minute and say, look, people need to catch up, and I'm not entirely sure what's going to cause people to catch up. But I'm just thinking about the fact that, some of us will celebrate the new year in 15 minutes. Some people in an hour and 15, 2 hours and 15, 3 hours and 15. I don't know, in Hawaii, they're like 7 hours and 15 before they're going to get to it. So the new reality comes at different places, different times, for different people. All right, others, things you want to let go? Yeah, Samir. Samir's been drinking here on.
Go through this week by week, and I was just the other day talking to some people who are like entrepreneurs, and they always say like how we overestimate what we can do in the week, but underestimate
Hmm.
and how 52 mediocre weeks can amount to a widely successful year. You will just keep going, little by little, like a turtle. And that has been inspiring, just to look back and say, oh my goodness, how many times we thought, what are we doing? Us, like daily, and you were like, what are we doing? It makes no sense.
What are we doing?
And thinking back, it's like it's daylight, and you don't know when the sun came up. It's just good. And I feel so. I feel still like something exploded, and I don't hear the sound. Just like a piercing noise from the shock. Even if I'm out of the trenches, and I need some time. I don't even know what I'm leaving behind. What's coming. I'm still shell shocked. But I can see like, okay, things are normalizing a little bit. We'll be able to get there. But still like fresh pain happening for me.
Yeah. And I want to stop watching the news with fear in my throat. Right? Like I like the news and I like politics and I follow it the way people follow sports, and I'm not going to stop that. I kind of thought and said to Shelley, I think I'm going to stop watching the news so much, until the next morning, and then I woke up and started watching Morning Joe. So I realized, okay, I'm not going to do that. But I don't want to watch it with fear in my throat. I want to watch it with hope in my heart, And I don't, frankly, I mean, maybe all of you are better at this. I'm not sure I know how to do that quite yet. I think I've developed a 4-year habit. It's like it's like I earned a bachelor's degree or a master's degree in fear news watching over these last 4 years. It's been just unreal. And we're going to start a little effort on Inauguration Day, January 20th. Called Dump Trump Day. That's where you get to stop following Donald Trump on your social media. You stop following Donald Trump in the news. When he comes on, you put it on mute. If news channels want to continue to push you just dump him. It's just it's just like an ad blocker on your web browser. Just done with this guy. Like I don't want to have him around anymore. And I know this is good for everybody, but at least for me, like I need to have that fear monger out of my throat. So that's what I'm going to let go of. Anybody else? Something they're going to let go of? And then in 10 minutes, all we're going to have to talk about is what you want in 2021, because there's no more 2020 at that point in 10 minutes. Well, those, I don't even know if there's anybody in the East Coast time zone right now. Abe, you are. Yeah, and Randy. Abe and Randy. Okay. We're going to be watching your faces, and we want to see like a transformation happen when the, when the clock strikes.
I'm gonna ring out my
Oh.
my 10 minutes, but they're waiting and we've got our gala going on in the living room.
Can you carry your thing out? Can you carry your computer out there and show us the gala?
It's not much of a gala.
Okay. All right. All right.
Gabby would be happy about that.
Touche.
I don't think she's dressed for company.
Oh, well,
But now we got the
I think there's a bit more going out there than you were leading on to then, if you, that's,
well, you know, it's
yeah.
anyway, my prayers to you all. Happy New Year, and thank you for now. Thank you very much.
2021.
2021, yeah.
No, we're not done. You know what? We're not done with 2020 yet. We're going to still kick some ass in 2020. We're not done yet.
Bye-bye.
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 Hey, I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but Rod and Allie,
How long does it take to?
How long what?
How long does it take to fix your check rate? I mean, like, do people still write checks?
We do. We do.
So then, February.
Yeah, it'll take us, maybe this time it won't take that long. We're so eager to see 2021. So it's top of mind.
Hello, Rachel.
are there other people on here? Hey, Rod and Allie, any reflections from the newlyweds on things you want to let go of, things that you're hoping for?
Well, I mean, 2020 was comparatively an extraordinarily good year for us. So we might be a little out of sync here.
Say more.
Like, for those who don't know, I mean, we are a direct product of COVID. So we've got a world full of misery, and we've got a tiny little speck of joy here. So we're pretty conflicted. But I think we can believe that 2021 is going to be better than 2020.
Hands down, no doubt.
Because the two of you, I mean, to give a little context, the two of you reacquainted as adults and fell madly in love in 2020 and got married in 2020.
Correct. So, yes, I was.
Pretty good year.
12 when we first met, on the island of Singapore, at a secondary Adventist boarding school. So, that's over 40 years there. And we were
Ouch.
and we were reunited at a school reunion that had melted down to almost nothing because everyone canceled because of COVID. So 8 of us showed up and 2 of us got married.
The two of you, to be clear.
Exactly. And what's extra special about it is that Allie's father was the headmaster of the school, and I had actually stayed in touch with him and his wife over the years. So, cannot imagine sort of a more natural transition from being an honorary son to, an actual son of mine.
I see our wonderful son, Morgantown. Rachel, how are you?
Where do you see her? Is she in your window?
Right down. I heard her voice earlier. No, maybe not. Sorry.
And folks, actually, Allie's got 2 delightful kids, and they have 2 special significant others, and the 6 of us are here in a very small house, so we've got 4 20-somethings being perfectly quiet.
Oh, come on.
It's a sitcom in the making.
Put on mute and let them rip. So
Reminded us that they, at least some of them have made cameos on both happening events yet, so they beg us not to torture them.
please don't.
And of course, we acquiesce because, we're newlyweds. And, I gotta be the pushover stepdad that
That's funny.
so we're gonna duck out so the party can
Yes.
turn 10 decibels that it was before we logged in.
Oh, you should. Well, Happy New Year to you. 5 minutes early. Well, 2 hours and 5 minutes early.
Sorry to pop in and pop out, but we couldn't miss this show.
Never apologize for a pop in and pop out.
Thanks for popping in.
Glad to have you. Mary Beth and I had plans if it was just the two of us, so. Happy New Year.
And special thank you to Eric for appearing on
Yes.
obviously he has been transformative for me and for many of us.
Yes.
And Eric and for Doug, we can't leave without saluting the incredible leadership of the man in the hat.
Tiara, I think now.
You got a tiara now? Tiara?
Is that what these are? What are these headband things called? Is this a tiara? What's a tiara? It's a tiara. What are these? They don't have a name. They don't have a All right. Anybody else? Something you want to let go of in 2020? From 2020?
I think for me, I'm looking forward to dump some campaign stuff. It feels like 4 years. I had a dad who's kind of just typical evangelical, closet liberal, came up to me at my freshman daughter's soccer game 4 months ago, and he's like, "I'm just ready for this to be done, Randy." He follows me on Twitter. I don't put much on Twitter. He said, "I feel like I'm a worse person now than I was when he took office." He's a great guy, the public school teacher, fabulous father, and I was like, yeah, same here. Like, I think in some ways, I'm thankful for those kind of good, and there's so many people I've met through it, but people have been committed to it, but I really hope that part of, like, turning on Morning Joe or Ray Tomato at night, like, wondering if we literally have just bombed another country.
Right.
And hoping that we can, inspire to greater things and better things, like abolishing the death penalty forever, like Abe's working on, or just getting honest people elected. Like, hey, Republicans, you can find some honest people too. Like, elect them.
Right.
Democrats, they're lousy people too, but just a hope for have a different expectation and not just be more hopeful. Just I think you have a point that we may have. For me, it's going to be 4 years of unlearning. As my teenagers would say, it's not raging. Like, you can't save the world by raging. Raging 2020 to 2024.
Yes.
So I have been fortunate in Michigan that we elected 2 years ago a whole bunch of amazing women to our offices, including Secretary of State, yes, Governor, yeah, the President is fabulous, for sure, but maybe not quite as crazy as everybody thought she would. I mean, she has made some errors along the way, but she's human and she'll fix that. But just looking forward to some good stuff, and very hopeful for what kind of good is going to do as well. So thank you. Good to be here for the first time. I'm actually in, usually I'd be going up to Michigan, but I am in, we ducked out last week on Sunday, and we drove down to the Florida Keys in Chicago,
Are you really?
Yeah, we rented a single wide trailer out of town where we could see manatees for $150 a night. So it was highly secure.
How about that?
Yeah.
Key Largo, Montego. We went to Key Largo on vacation. It was a total disaster. Story for another time. Hey, we're at 11:58 by Apple clocks. So I don't know if you've all got a bottle of champagne there. What do you got there, Cole? Got something?
I got the fancy stuff.
I've got a. Oh, I don't know how to make this focus. I don't think this camera can focus properly.
Cole is our patriarch.
I was headed last year to this time last year in the bus to come get y'all.
All right, Mary Jack. Yeah, that's right, Cole. Right about now, you were gearing up to come get us a year ago. What a year!
I was on the road. I was driving to see.
We're betting in DC on the second. That's really on the first.
Yeah, I left my house at 5 a.m. New Year's Eve day.
Does somebody have a countdown go somewhere where we know when it's going to turn?
We've got that. We can tune in New York like
Are you just making this up, John? Because I got a cork that's about to butt. There we go. Whoa! Happy New Year! I held my cork too long. It'll be funny.
We're gonna run downstairs and watch the ball drop on TV.
Well, they'll do it an hour later in Minnesota, John. They time delay it.
Okay.
17 we can do that.
Well, you go down and watch it, and then let us know. You know, Happy New Year. It feels like, hey, Cole, before you go, that old freight. Oh, where is Cole right now? What is he doing? For those who don't know, Cole is the bus driver. Cole is the one that moved us around the country, kept us safe, all the rest of it. Finally, as Mary Jackson says, finally it's 2021 for people that live in the East Coast. But as we should remember, not everybody's in the future yet. So some of us are still in 2020. That's where I am. Yeah, I love it. Everybody's got to go.
The whole year's ahead of us.
Hey, what have you done this year? You got anything done yet?
I should have gone earlier. Say see you next year. But I missed it.
Missed it. Well, you're in the West Coast. You can still say that.
I could still say that. See you guys next year.
Happy New Year. I don't know.
Randy. Florida?
I'm with you, Randy.
Yeah, Key Largo, like underneath the tiki hut. It's a single wide trailer, but they have this fabulous tiki hut. So, hey, here we are. My kids are going to do a dance party, but they're not. They're all, like late teens, early 20s, so they don't want me to show up. But yes,
I'm drinking Coors Light.
I think you left that other stuff here at my house, Adam and Mary Beth.
Yeah, but that's Doug.
thank you for your efforts this past year, Mary Beth, and for dealing with dogs. That's remarkable.
It's a lot.
We're not done yet, Randy.
It's not easy. Wow. Hey,
Well, love you guys.
keep wearing your masks until it's all done.
Happy New Year.
Okay. Happy New Year, everybody. All right, so everybody else left. Happy New Year from Vote Common Good.